Well, today we're going to have a super fun call. It's a high performance call focused on focal points. Focused on focal points. And we're going to talk to my friend Callie and dig in a little bit about what parts of her life she'd like to focus on, what parts of her life might need a little bit more juice, and what parts of her life she might be struggling with right now. So I'm sure that Callie's going to join on shortly, and we'll just catch up from last time. Last time, Callie and I were talking about energy, which is super important. Hey, Callie, there's Callie. She's joining now, and I'm just going to connect her here. Hey, Callie, how are you?
Good. How are you?
It's good to see you.
You too.
So, what kind of dog do you have again?
She's a blue tick hound.
Oh, nice.
She's 6 months old and she is wild. She's
Yeah. 6-month-old puppies are supposed to be wild.
hmm
So we'll expect the occasional interruption, and that's just fine.
Yep.
Last time that we met, we talked a little bit about energy. So tell me how you've been feeling energy wise since the last time we talked.
Well, you're catching me on a day where I didn't really get much sleep last night, honestly.
It happens.
But I think good. I mean, a couple of the things you mentioned, like nutrition, I've been focusing on and just getting outside, which helps me in more ways than one. The weather's been a little bit nicer sporadically, so I've been getting outside a little bit more. So it's going good.
That's great. That's great. Well, today we're going to talk a little bit more in a more well-rounded way. In high performance coaching, we want to find ways to help you find heightened levels of clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence on your march to a fully charged, inspired life. And so, first, to get there, we need to know where you are in a few key areas. Um, we want to look at what you're focused on. We've talked a little bit about your energy. We also want to look at your level of what we call agency or control of your life, and how you feel right now about your life, what habits you have that are already supporting you, but also what habits might be pulling you away from what's most important to you. So tell me, what areas of your life would you say need more focus from you right now?
Organization. I am struggling staying organized, not only like the physical aspects of it, like keeping a good calendar or keeping my tasks in order, but also like mentally, I feel like my brain is just totally all over the place. So organization is something I really would like to nail down and focus on.
Okay, sounds good. What would you say? What are the goals that better organization is going to support? What would you say are the three, let's say, your biggest goals over the next 90 days personally?
Um, Related to organization would probably be to have an easy flow, like an easy daily flow where like I wake up and can just move into a routine that feels, like easy and steady and not all over the place, which sometimes I feel like, it'll be like the end of the day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't do this, or I didn't do this, or I forgot about this. So having that, organizational flow throughout daily life would be a 90-day goal for sure.
Okay, sure. What's another goal for the 90 days?
Let's see. This will be more like 30 days and you can relate. I'm going to hit my 100 rides on my Peloton, hopefully.
Awesome. That's awesome.
30-day goal. Um,
Who do you like to ride with the most?
It changes. This morning I took a class with Jen Sherman for the first time ever. And I don't know why I didn't think I wasn't going to vibe with her, but I actually thought she was like pretty funny.
That's awesome.
Like cusses, and that was unexpected. So I was like, oh, I kind of like her. She's like cussing up a storm. I would say another goal would be sort of a financial goal. I think I have some big financial decisions kind of coming up. I'm shopping for a new car. I have a property in Florida I might be selling. So mostly clarity on some of that stuff of the path of that financial situation of what that looks like and how I can reach more clarity on that, because right now I'm kind of just unsure about a lot of it, but I need to get going on it too.
So with finding more organizational flow in your day, why is that important to you?
I think that would help with overall like stress levels, and it would probably help with my sleep too, because, you know, like I mentioned, like at the end of the day, I feel like I did all this work all day and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do all this stuff, or I didn't have this flow of like being able to check things off my list. So I think it'll help relieve my stress levels. It'll put me on a nice routine where I feel confident when I wake up in the morning and confident when I go to bed at night about what my days looked like. Yeah.
All right. So you'll maybe be a little more conscious as you're moving through your day about how your activities are helping your overall process.
Right.
Okay. What about in business? What would say are your 3 biggest goals for the next 90 days?
I think it still is part of the organizational thing. That's where I'm feeling it the most, I think.
Yeah, I can hear that. Yeah.
I have multiple clients, like, you know, and so there may be a day where I focus just on one client rather than having that flow of like spending time with each client. So I think it'll give me the ability to connect with my clients more frequently and on a more personal basis. Once I have that organizational flow going, it won't be, you know, randomly not set times on meetings and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like definitely the organizational piece is going to be a big one for us to work on together.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me just grab my phone charger real quick.
Sure. Yep.
Okay.
Take your time. We got all day.
All right.
Maybe not all day. Hey, Angela, thanks for joining. Glad to see you guys following along here. Callie's charging the phone.
Okay. Should be, let's see here. Sorry, I got to maneuver some stuff around now.
You're fine. This is why I like live, because it's real, right? That's what I like about live versus posting stuff. Like, this is the way it really goes when you have a coaching session with me.
Okay.
Except you're not crying yet. No, I'm kidding.
Hopefully that doesn't happen while we're live.
So, are there any areas of your life where you feel your focus is maybe being stolen away by distractions or competing interests?
I would say distractions are what I've got going on in Florida. You know, there's a lot of backstory to that, which you know a little bit about, but I own a property there and I also own a business there, which is part of why I'm wanting to sell all that stuff. But that's very distracting to me on a daily basis, because I'll like hear from someone there with, you know, a problem or something, and it's really hard to focus on like my daily work when I know that's like over here on this side, always kind of coming in.
Sure.
And it's like paralyzing a little bit sometimes. Like if something goes wrong there, or if I receive some paperwork having to do with something going on there, it's almost like I look at that and then the whole rest of the day I can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. So really important, maybe just write that down a little bit, that just write energy and Florida. And I think that that's something we're going to want to go back to, but you're going to certainly want to go back to between our sessions here, is to maybe start digging a little deep to see where you're feeling energetically about Florida, because it sounds like there's a pretty big pull from your energy, and something to really think about. So let's switch to the positive side. What areas of life do you feel like you've got a really great handle on right now?
Can I say nothing?
No, there's got to be something.
Okay. Well, I think my relationships are good right now. I have good relationships with my husband. I have great relationships with I have a lot of close friends. Well, not a lot of close friends. I have a small group of quality close friends that I have really good relationships with, and with my family as well. So I think I've got that down.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's usually one of the biggest pieces of work that people are working on is relationships. So, I'd say you've got a great foundation if you've got solid relationships you're working from. I want to keep this a little short for you. I don't want to ask you everything like we would in a full session. Is there anything that you feel is kind of out of control right now in your life, other than organizational stuff? Probably is one I know you're going to say.
Yeah, and the organizational stuff kind of like blows up into everything else, because I feel like it like just adds all this like crazy stress. Like, it's like I have a piece of paper that I have to fill out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do that right now because I have to do this other thing. So I know you didn't want me to say organizational, but I'm like,
it's okay. You can. Yeah.
Back to that, because it's like webbing out into all these other areas of my life, and it's like making me feel hectic a lot and like scrambled. So that would probably be the biggest one. And I mean, just stuff with the pandemic. I mean, it's just exhausting. And then, what happened yesterday in Boulder, it's like, obviously that's uncontrollable.
Yeah. But just a few miles from where you live.
Yeah. Close.
Yeah.
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 So kind of just the environment in general that we're living in right now, but I guess I can't control how I react to it, but it does feel uncontrollable still.
Well, on the organizational piece, we're gonna hit that right before we close up, and I'm gonna give you a couple tools that I think might help you focus on organization as a project, which is a funny way to look at it. So I'll explain that shortly. If you were looking at your current daily habits, are there any habits that you need to start or restart in your life right now that you've always wanted to, or that you feel you need to?
Yes. Like, again, it's going back to like routine and organization. I need to have that time when I wake up, because right now it's kind of just like, I don't have to go anywhere or like get dressed. So it's kind of like when I wake up, I mean, it's still, usually around the same time, but it's not like on that routine. And probably when I get my exercise in, I could get that done, first thing in the morning, or have like a set time. For a little bit, I was doing it like during my lunch break, and then we got the puppy, and now it's like I like have 10 minutes to myself where she's not going to be like eating something, or like she's doing right now, probably.
Yeah, it's such a constant thing with puppies. They're babies that can run around.
Oh my gosh. And she was in a puppy mill before we got her. So she spent life in a cage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Learning how to dog, running, playing, everything. It's like, it's a first time. So it's even more of a challenge, but it'll be great once she's, more well behaved. So yeah, getting my exercise more on a routine where it's not just like totally random. Those two habits I think would make a huge difference. I definitely think waking up at a specific time, even an earlier time, and having like time in the morning to just be before I just like jump into my day and my daily stuff like that. Yeah.
What would you say if you were going to be, I don't know, 10 times more successful next year? What would you say would be the habits that you need to be committed to now to build that foundation? What would you need to start implementing now?
Yeah, I think that me time that I just mentioned, like in the morning, in a perfect world where, greater success is the goal, it would be waking up early and spending maybe 30 minutes or an hour learning, whether that's like reading online articles about what's going on in my industry, sitting down with someone who, is a fellow marketer or whatever, and chatting with them about trends or whatever, just spending more time before I jump into my daily work, just learning and getting up to date on what's going on. And I think that would help with my organizational stuff too, because I go into my days sort of with a goal or with like a new perspective on things, so those two things would be great, would be huge. And then getting a sleep pattern down, which we talked about with my energy
Yeah.
session, would be huge. And I feel like I'm trying everything. Once I figure the thing out, it'll be great.
Well, and with that being said, I'm a huge proponent of starting fairly small with habits. Just treating it like a game and just trying to unlock yourself a little bit is actually pretty fun, rather than trying to try to take this like super heavy habit and install it in our lives. And I will sleep this way every night. Just kind of playing with it and saying, well, maybe I'll go to sleep this time or that time. A morning routine, again, there are lots of books written about morning routines, lots of stuff out there, but I feel like there are other people's morning routines that then get kind of shoved down your throat, and you've got to figure out, The Miracle Morning is a great book, by the way, if you ever want to read about morning habits. But the way it's written and described, a lot of us don't have an hour and a half to set aside all these me time, moments. And so finding a way to hack your own morning and hack your own style so that you can find something that's sustainable. Because again, that's what high performance is all about, is not just peak performance where we perform at a really high level and it drops off, but high performance where it's sustainable over the long term. And we get that by finding things that work for us. So last thing, I promise you, we just talk about organization real quick. I'm going to send you a worksheet when we hang up. And it's all around, we actually do it in our productivity session, so we'll see it again. But I want you to approach organization as a project, not as just, because when we say, I want to be more organized, it's just like this hopeful thing we say, and there's nothing built around it, right? So what I want you to think about is, how do I approach being more organized as a project? So let's start with just defining the project a little bit. Tell me, what would more organized look like to you? Just give me a couple examples.
Probably having like some sort of daily like to-do list or task list.
Okay.
Whether that's like a daily planner, like a physical one, or something that pops up on my computer of like reminders of things I have to do today. Like right now I do write stuff on my whiteboard, but like I'll do that and I'll feel really good about it, and I'll like check stuff off my list, and then I won't do it for like 3 weeks, and I'm like, I don't know what else more. So just something that is a constant, something that I can constantly see to keep me on track, that is low maintenance to update.
Okay, cool. I like that. So something that you'll look at on a daily basis, easy for you to update. And why would being organized be more important to you? What would you get from being more organized?
I think both in my personal life and my professional life, it would benefit me, and it would benefit my clients, and it would benefit, back to my personal life, the people around me.
Sure.
For example, I won't be so like stressed out during dinner and talking about work I was supposed to do and forgot, or that I have to do tomorrow, and like making these mental notes because it'll all be there. And then like on the professional side, like I mentioned earlier a little bit, just being able to connect more with my clients, I think, and have a much steadier flow throughout things.
Okay.
I keep using the word flow. Like I want to find this like really easy
flow. Is good.
Like, yeah.
Hey, you know what? It exists. And more productive, at the times when I've been most productive and making the most money, it's been the easiest, because I really do believe that there is such a thing as a flow. And it's not this woo-woo stuff. It just makes sense because we have everything in place that we need. It just means that your car is running, on the right fuel, and the tires are pumped at the right level, and things just move a lot better that way. So I'm a big believer in flow. So tell me, from a project perspective on organization, what are the next 3 steps you need to take to be better organized? Let's continue to look at it as an organization, as a project.
Mm-hmm. I think, well, now, since we've been talking, I've like got ideas going in my head now of how I can.
That's the idea.
So instead of maybe like when I wake up trying to spend some time like learning, or I could do some learning, but then I could spend the next half hour before I actually start my work day, maybe planning out my work day. and that could be, you know, with assistance to a weekly planner, which I do on Fridays or something. Like on Fridays, I think about, you know, before I sign off for the weekend, spend a half hour putting in whatever software, whatever planner I get, what my next week looks like. And then each day spend, you know, 10 minutes or whatever reviewing what my day is supposed to look like. That way I have that daily reminder of what my flow is supposed to look like. And that'll reduce my stress and be helpful for my clients as well.
I like it. So planning, which will include that daily task list. And by the way, again, I just want to reiterate the trick to making this work, because some of us, when I hear planning, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get eye rolls and stuff. And for me, for instance, that doesn't work in the morning. I have to do it the night before, or at least, you know, I'll do it the Sunday for the week. And then I'll, you know, each morning I'll look a little bit, but knowing yourself and when you're going to be most apt to follow that habit, I think is a really important thing, because it can work just as well the night before as that morning, just depending on who you are and how, you know, how you access the best of you. So you're going to do planning. What are two more things for organization?
Oh man. I don't know. I might need to brainstorm these a little bit. That's like the first one. This is why I need help with organization, because obviously I'm good at it.
Well, I'm gonna let you off the hook. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send you the project plan, and I want you to think about organization as one of those projects. And I just want you to complete it. It's very simple, but as I've told you before, most of the work, most of the growth that you're going to have through this process with me is actually going to happen between the sessions when you're doing the work. And so I'm going to send it to you. I encourage you to work through it, and then just reach out to me and let me know if you get stuck. Otherwise, we'll review the plan next time we talk. But again, what we're going to do is, rather than saying, oh, I want to be stronger, I want to be leaner, I want to be more productive, I want to be more organized, that's great, but we're gonna approach it like it's a project and just work through it bit by bit. Any insights that were helpful today?
Yeah, I mean, just when we were talking, I like my brain was out, like, what is he saying that could be helpful for me? And I even just thought of, you know, the night before the Friday thing or the Monday morning thing that I hadn't really thought of before. So that was, thank you.
Good. I like it. Well, thanks for hopping on with me today. And again, this is just a small part of what I do in my full 1 hour coaching sessions. So obviously we have the opportunity to go a little deeper there than we do here, but hopefully you're getting a little taste of how it works, and hopefully it's valuable for you.
It is. Thank you.
All right. I love it. Thank you, Callie. Appreciate it.
All right. Talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.